Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible... The whole Bible is an incredible... I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time.
After many appearances with embarrassing answers...
Please, could we have it back?
And they
please,
asked for that.
Because they have no... We
they
were
did
talking.
Ask for it.
No, and
they said,
I gave
can you
them
give the documents back?
And we were talking.
And then they said they went to DOJ to subpoena you to get them
Which
back.
They've never done before.
Right.
And
but why not just hand them over then?
And clear displeasure from Fox News.
Like, how close are we to like a World War III type scenario?
One madman away.
Donald Trump eyes a different path of media exposure.
Something historic that I'm always amazed by what you did is how you got along so well with all these world leaders, especially Kim Jong-un. What?
I did.
Mainly from a place like this. Fluffy, zero pushback, kiss-assy style sit-downs like Dana White favorite, the Nelk Boys. There's a reason behind this.
The most depressing thing about the Nelk Boys interview to me is that these guys, these Nelk Boys, basically seem like suck-ups to Trump. They don't know anything about history. Their questions, they can't even form an actual critical question because they lack such knowledge. And that's why Trump is so impressed with them. Trump walks in and everybody's throwing bouquets at each other and they got Trump a gift. Whereas if Trump appeared on a single podcast that could actually assemble a logical interview, you would have a very different outcome. That I can assure you.
David is right. So what's next?
And according to Politico, the former president is in talks to do a sit-down interview on a podcast that Mike Tyson has. Do you know much about the strategy behind that?
So there's a couple of things, Anderson. Number one, Mike Tyson is a very old associate of his. He was actually an advisor of sorts to Tyson at one point in the late 1980s. He was a huge defender of Tyson's when Tyson was convicted on a rape charge and said it was a travesty. So it's not entirely surprising. It's also a reminder that Trump has this unique niche that he tries to appeal to just in terms of cultural aspects of the country. He has been a public figure. He has been a celebrity. He has also been sort of a sports figure, and he has been or at least connected to the world of wrestling, connected to the world of boxing. And I think that his campaign has long seen that as an advantage that it can press, especially as it tries to appeal to men. You know, men is obviously a very broad category. It's often, cut up into different groups among men, but that is his base of support. And so they are going to try to maximize his vote there. And it's not surprising that he's talking about it. It does seem that it's a potential recipe for things getting a little complicated in an interview, but we'll see.
Mike Tyson's show Hotboxin has nearly 900,000 subscribers and a ton of downloads. He has interviewed Stephen A. Smith, Joe Rogan, Wiz Khalifa, Bill Maher, Snoop Dogg, and many more. Really, any name you could think of in sports, politics, comedy, and music, he's had them on. Trump is playing a card that is frankly very wise of him and his staff to play. Politico reports the Trump campaign's interest in Mike Tyson's podcast is part of a broader strategic outreach to non-traditional media outlets, specifically those affiliated with male audiences with an interest in contact and combat sports. UFC Unfiltered, hosted by comedian Jim Norton and former mixed martial artist Matt Serra, is the official podcast of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. With it being the official podcast of the UFC, the alliance is that much easier to broker. There are rumors Trump will make another appearance on Barstool Sports, likely with confidant Dave Portnoy, who interviewed him at the White House. With all of these appearances, the Trump strategy appears to be crystal clear. It highlights a centerpiece of his election strategy in both the primary and, should he be the party's nominee, the general. He and his team are placing a major bet on appealing to less politically active voters, according to an analysis posted last month on the sports betting website BetMGM. The sport is the most popular among those 25 to 35. 90% of its viewers are male. Politico then noted, among other variables, the demo played a huge role in swinging the 2020 election to Joe Biden. The Pew also noted that very demographic helped Trump take the White House over Hillary Clinton in 2016.